welcome to the Success Sofa. I'm Dr. Andrea Goeglein, and with me today is...
Jonathan Snyder.
Okay, so let me give you a little bit on how Jonathan came into my life. As you know, I really believe that integrating what you do and what you believe into your work is a way to inspire you. And so one of the things I like to do is give back in my community. And do you remember how you and I met?
I think I bid on your program at a school auction.
You did. You bought me at auction. You haven't been the first one who I have been with in these conversations where that's been the case.
I think I got a great price, so I did well by that.
You got a great price. So I will traditionally put one of my 30-day packages to work with someone into a silent auction at a given local charity. And that's how John and I met. And do you remember where you were at that point in your business life, why it was of interest to you to work with someone like me?
Yeah, I was looking to, expand into my own venture and trying to find the path forward to bring me into what I wanted to do and what I wanted to do long term.
Right.
I thought
and you said something really important. You talked about the path forward. Because at that point, if I'm remembering correctly, and it was a few years ago, you had created a company in the telecom space, taken it public, and then things didn't go great for you.
Well, yeah, I was looking post the creation of my telecom company, and that was something I built from business plan to public offering. After that, I was sort of a little bit aimless. I was rudderless, and I knew what I liked to do, and I wanted to get back to that, but there were some steps involved in terms of how I needed to get back on that track to go back to building again.
Right. And that's something that you always have to appreciate. When you are in between opportunities, when things don't seem to be going well, know that there comes a point where that's the process you're supposed to be in order to find the next thing. Now, during the time that we worked together, tell us the story on how you wandered into a t-shirt shop in California and were inspired.
I was introduced to a store in Seal Beach, and the person who made the introduction said, you're really going to love the store and you're going to love the people who own it and do the design work. And it's a store called Tank Farm. And the two owner-operators are brothers, John and Mike Anderson. And early in 2015, I went into the store looking at the product, seeing if there was an opportunity to participate in the business somehow. I didn't know.
Right.
And as I'm looking around the store and the different designs, and it's men, guys wear.
Right.
T-shirts, hats, jeans, flannels, Henleys. And I noticed on the point of sale area, or where point of sale display, was this literally this.
Oh,
this
really?
this was.
This is the original.
So it caught my eye. We talked about a variety of different other things, but I zeroed in on this display and the idea and the name.
Right.
And I saw that and I said, this is really unique. The name spoke to me.
Okay, pause for a moment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Why did the name speak to you?
Right when I saw Contenders, I thought immediately about Rocky. Rocky's story is about the contender that never gave up until they won the championship, right?
Yeah.
So it's an underdog story, and so the Contenders, the idea of it immediately resonated.
Right. And that I have to say that's what you have to look for when you think you're in that space where you really don't know what you want and what you're looking at, and someone makes a suggestion and you go and look at something. It's those moments of inspiration where you see something, you see a name, a word comes up in you. I would also say the name Contenders, from the moment you brought this product and this concept into our conversations, I loved the name, because I really resonate with the underdog. Everything about success for me is not the end point where you score, but everything you do to get that score.
You see it now with the football that's going on, and you know, the coincidentally, the Philadelphia Eagles have played this underdog role, and they even wear dog masks to reflect their role as the underdog, and they rally behind it.
It resonates with me.
Right, and so as you go through life, I mean, I think the idea of contenders can be applied to anything, and so from a personal level, it spoke to me because it, you know, matched what I was facing. You know, I want to go do something. You're in an underdog role when you start a company.
That's right.
And then the tie-ins with a lot of the other things that I'm sure we'll get into, you know, fit very well into that brand.
Right. And so you see this, you then put a deal together, but then you blew this up. You really took the name Contenders and the product line and did some pretty extraordinary things with it.
Yeah, I mean, first, the John and Mike Anderson did a phenomenal job of setting this product up and the direction for it. So the original premise of the brand was boxers inspired by boxers.
Good foundation.
Terrific foundation. Okay. And you know, they were doing some tie-ins to Rocky, but not being very direct with it. Now, they have a huge love and affinity for Rocky, as I do.
Right.
You know, growing up as, you know, a 70s kid, you have to love Rocky. It just, you know, especially, you know, a boy who likes sports, is a rite of passage.
That's right.
But I said, you know, what if we took this brand and really did a license agreement and did something more direct with Rocky and created a line of boxer briefs that were truly inspired by Rocky, not just by general boxers.
Right.
And so we did that and released a collection of Rocky boxer briefs that have been great, and it's led to other great partnerships that we've secured.
So your business is you took a brick and mortar business and took it totally online.
Yeah, this business had or the Contenders, you know, product sat in the Seal Beach Tank Farm store,
right,
and was not doing a whole lot online. I mean, they are retail. They have a very strong retail mindset, and I thought this lends itself perfectly to an online business. Mm-hmm. The storytelling, the viral nature of the advertising, and so yeah, I took that idea and the name, the brand, and launched an entire experience online with it.
And that was new to even the way you did business. Although, you know, telecom had been your original sweet spot, going into using new technologies to make your business successful is something that you seem to be pretty open to.
Yeah, it's a good point. I did not have a huge amount of background in e-commerce. I mean, you know, really, if you look at the e-commerce, it's been, over the last 4 years, it's really exploded.
Right.
And it's not just Amazon, it's a bunch of new brands that have launched online and have built an incredible, passionate following online. But when I got into Contenders, I didn't know all about it. So there was a lot of it was a learning curve to adopt new technologies for the e-commerce side, for the fulfillment side, and then certainly, you know, in between, which is all the marketing. And yeah, so I'm flexible to say what I don't know, but what I want to learn, and that's what I wanted to do with Contenders.
But I think when you have a business and you have the concept and you become inspired, taking on all of those different pieces of what it looks like, and yes, it is like, it's been painful. Let's be honest, it's been painful. You don't work with me because it's lovely.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's one thing to have an idea for you know, to put Rocky,
right,
but to get this executed, you know, the steps it takes, and it's not like when you're a startup and you're young, you're doing most of it, you know, and you know, I have help, but you know, a lot of it in the early stages is a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Right.
But to get a product like, you know, Rocky launched,
packaging.
You got to get the packaging right, you got to get the product right, and even when you get those things right, you got to make sure that the marketing and advertising is right.
Right.
and things that
And
you don't
just
even,
did.
and the things you don't even pay attention to, which is,
Correct.
what's the customer journey on your site, and are you paying attention to that? Are there any blockages?
Right.
Those
How
are
long
things.
does it take to get them to actually get to buy? How many?
But this business for me does play really nicely with what I like, which is the data aspect. So
Right.
so that point of, can you get real granular about time on site and what they're looking at, and anything that the customer is kind of journeying through your site, you can use to make improvements on the business.
Right. And that's one of the things I want to bring up. John has a thoroughbred of an educational background. Your undergrad is from
Wharton,
and your MBA is from
UCLA, the Anderson School.
Okay. And so you took that, and normally someone with your background is going to end up crunching numbers, for an investment banking operation on Wall Street.
I have a lot of friends that do that.
Exactly. And then there are some who have that background, but the desire for creativity, the desire to actually know what the numbers feel like, I think is the sense. And that's what I really get from you a lot, that it's, you could run numbers all day long and have something make sense, but trying to figure out, wow, how do I put this in this box? And does the same person who creates the box for me and puts the product in, the same person that puts that label on? Because I was always like, how does this all get put together?
It's a lot of steps for sure.
A lot of steps.
I'm a weird breed, because as much as I love the data, I love the creative process.
Right.
And I've always gravitated to building businesses, because there is a creativity that goes along with taking an idea, a business idea, and hatching it into a real business. And so I'm very comfortable working within that band of idea to launch to commercialization and vice versa.
Right. And I'll say this part. So the business is not where he wants it to be. It's got a way to go, and yet you believe in it.
Yeah, I've seen enough evidence that the business and the metrics are strong.
Right.
But like any company, it's never the hockey stick that some of these
wish.
companies. Right?
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, we all wish we could create
Of course.
Uber or Amazon, but for the rest
they
of
have
it,
this same process too. I mean, there isn't a time where that process. It's just there could be a tipping point where something happens.
on the for like Uber, for example,
Right.
the sales side skyrocketed, but they still are trying to figure out the profitability side.
You bet.
We're
profit.
we're trying to, what I want to do is grow, but maintain, this idea of profitability, because
It's a good idea.
well, it's an idea that not everyone has, right?
I
So
understand.
if you want to build, if you want growth at all costs, that's one path.
Correct.
This business was funded largely by me and my friends and family.
Friends and
So
family, that's right.
I have a obligation to keep growing, but in a measured way. And so but my belief is grounded in looking at the data that suggests that people do want to buy this, people gravitate to this brand, they do it cost effectively, and they're looking for us to do more product and continue to expand what Contenders is all about.
So what are the next great licensing deals that you have on the horizon? Are you allowed to say?
I can't say,
Okay.
but let me give you the idea.
Okay.
I mean, Contenders is this wonderful place where sports and entertainment icons mix.
Right.
So Rocky, sometimes you forget, Rocky is a fictional character. He was not a real, but to most of us, he was a real fighter, right? So we recently got into WWE,
Right.
and so now we've got I'll let you grab those, but we've got WWE boxer briefs. So that's Stone Cold Steve Austin, legend of WWE.
I'm not going to pretend that I knew who he was. I did not know.
But comfortable for women too, if that's something that you're looking for loungewear. But we were able to take this idea of sports meets entertainment, which is
Right.
WWE is all about. I mean, these guys are incredible athletes, and there's wonderful storylines. So what you there is John Cena, who is one of the the most popular of current figures right there. Yeah, that's John Cena.
This is how much I know.
Yeah, so that's our youth style. So we expanded into youth. So WW is a representative brand that where we can take Contenders, which is this sports and entertainment brand, and take partnerships that reflect that. So future brands will look like that in both sports and entertainment. We've got an iconic film where it's an athletic-based film in the martial arts arena, and then another one that is in a similar category. And in even more legendary. So that's what we're looking at.
So what you've really got is an incredible e-commerce business, a great brand with recognizable names and many legendary names that have honestly gone from generation to generation. You've got this incredible educational background and a traditional, what I would call a traditional, and you need to grow your business. Tell us how you're doing that differently than the traditional route.
Well, I mean, we have a unique value proposition in that we sit in a space that while everybody has to buy underwear, it's a very crowded space.
Yes.
No pun intended.
Punched. It's a punch.
But we're doing something I think that is unique, and I think that by doing things uniquely and doing it true to the brands that we represent as Contenders and our own products, like our t-shirts, and it lends itself to other growth categories and other license opportunities. So growth will come by adding.
And how are you thinking of financing the next set of growth?
I'm growing a money tree out in my back.
I'll water it for you.
We're looking at different options for that, different avenues. I mean, I think this brand lends itself really nicely to what's going on in the crowdsourcing arena, and we're looking at that as opposed to more traditional and institutional investments or traditional angel investments. Given the response that we get back for our product, it'd be really nice to tell our audience and our customers, you can also own a piece of the product that you're buying. So we're looking at that, and I think that's an interesting avenue. We're an online brand, so we need to take care of or take advantage of the avenues that make sense for our brand. Now that's different than what I've traditionally done. I've traditionally raised private equity capital and institutional capital in public markets. My businesses previously have been ready-made for that.
But I think everything that I've experienced from the time you decided to do deals in order to create Contenders as an online brand is that at every step of the way, you have built and used the newest avenues of how do you build a business online. It doesn't matter if they weren't the most successful. You have been exploring every one of the opportunities.
Well, that's the great thing about where we sit today as an entrepreneur, as a business that's in tech. I mean, we're in product, but we're also in tech. Is that the technology out there is accessible. It's changing, but it's improving the process by which customers can interact with you, and for you to deliver an experience and a product. And that happens on the e-commerce cart side, but it happens on the fulfillment side. It happens on how you can engage with your customers on social media. And it's beyond just like the influencers. It's like, how do we manage and judge the effectiveness of our social media platforms? So there's great tools for that out there today.
You've been doing a whole lot of learning. But so you did not know I was going to ask you this question, so I'm just going to say, I want you to imagine something. What I hear you saying is that you've built an online company with an incredible brand in the clothing. Is that
men's
Contenders,
clothing?
Men's clothing,
yeah. And youth.
And you have revenue.
We have real revenue.
And you're at a point that you want to grow. So for me, I think he's a perfect contender for the Shark Tank. So I want you to pretend that I'm the person, I was going to say I was Barbara, but she's more real estate and food, so I want you to pretend
You want
I'm
to be
Damien.
Lori? Damon, yeah.
Damon, yes, I'm Damon. Just,
Okay.
you have to imagine that. Tell me why I would invest in your company.
Because we are in the perfect intersection between great brands and the audience that seeks those brands. And we represent this product that can infuse life and a story into that brand and reach an audience that are identifiable, that are passionate, and it makes for this one-to-one direct story online a perfect investment vehicle. Because we're leveraging these bigger brands. WWE is a bigger brand than Contenders. Sure. Rocky is a bigger brand than Contenders. And we're putting it into a unique product that then we can go reach that audience and also get feedback back from them to tell us what they're interested in that product. So it becomes this two-way process, which means that we have a very loyal customer base, we have an identifiable customer base, and we can continue to deliver other products to that customer base that they're going to want and keep buying from us.
Okay, so when I give you the money, imagine, Damien, when I give you the money, what are you going to do with the money?
We've got a pipeline of licenses, so they're going into product. Our business, I compare our business to, and I'm not pitching this on Shark Tank,
right.
but
no,
right now, but our business is like a fire, and so without wood, which is our product, there's no fire, right? We have to have wood, and that's what keeps the fire going. Now, there's points at which you put too much wood on the fire and it smothers it, and you have too little and it doesn't grow. It doesn't grow as much. Our job as a retailer and a manufacturer is to have enough product to sell. So our growth plan is to get more and more product and more licenses, and have a diversity of licenses so that we find great intersections. There's a nice intersection between Rocky and WWE, some of our other licenses. So growth comes from having the wood, which is product and licenses, adding other product categories and really leveraging those. So our brand Contenders lives as a co-brand for WWE. So our Contenders brand, this is the New Day. They're a tag team. We live right with the brand WWE and Contenders.
Okay, what are these?
It's New Day. They're a tag team. They're a tag team champion in WWE. Very colorful, fun.
Yes.
They rainbows and unicorns. They love sneakers. They're great.
Okay.
My kids love them. So our brand lives as a co-brand with these other licenses. So that allows us in some ways to Trojan horse into other products that are Contenders. So we have our own products in our own packaging, which represents Contenders. So this is what we call the George. It's inspired by George Foreman, not licensed,
right.
but inspired by. So what we do is we have our own products too that also live with that brand, and so that's another growth opportunity, is other product categories that we can deliver to our customers.
Well, that's what I wanted to know. What I really wanted to give you the opportunity to see today is how you do find the next thing that you want, and how it doesn't look like some mass inspiration instantly that all of a sudden turns into all this money, but the process that you have to go through and continually go through when you believe in your product, when you believe in what you're creating, and know that you can be a contender as long as you stay in the game. So thank you for joining me on the Success Sofa. John, thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Those are really great.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you.